All right, folks, we're back, and we're loading into the grand finals. You're tuning in to the Olimoleague, and it's now a best of 5, no longer a best of 3. Of course, if you guys ever tune out or you go away and come back, the score is always going to be displayed down here for you at all times, so make sure to check it out, as this is game number 1. But before we do the player intros, Zaf, I got to ask you a question.
Mm.
Do you know why golfers, professional golfers, usually carry 2 pairs of pants?
Okay, so they get a hole in one.
In the top right side of the map, he is the blue Terran player, INnoVation.
And in the bottom left, he's the red Zerg, ByuL.
Okay, so ByuL, again, like, I gotta stress, it's more impressive to see him here than INnoVation. We're so used to seeing INnoVation in the finals for these things and winning them. So it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, guy, we get it, you're cool. But for ByuL, we haven't seen him in a while. He's not only on top of this, but he's looking fantastic today. Again, just reiterating, beating Alive in the semifinals and beyond shortly before that. He's doing a lot of the same tactics, though, which I'm a little bit worried about, where he's relying on like the little bit of Ling aggression to distract while he Ling drops the main. If INnoVation has any idea about this, or Beyond's giving him like a heads up or anything like that, like I feel ByuL can be beaten and dismantled due to his predictability. But that being said, that's still not a bad thing, because his tactics are still very strong. They very clearly work. And on top of all of that, what I like most about him is I continue to build him up unnecessarily, is that his late game macro was on point. We saw that versus Alive. It's not like he's not a Zerg player who's relying on gimmicks right now.
Yeah, true. Although, to speak about predictability, I would argue that sometimes INnoVation is the epitome of that, because he just does the one thing, but he does it so well that it doesn't really matter if you know it's happening or not, because he's going to beat you with it. So I think this is certainly one of the greatest clashes of the Titans we could have asked for finals. Like, these guys are so evenly matched, in my head at least. Hopefully in practice they are as well. I'm really keen to see how their styles match up, but I suppose we'll find out. Like, INnoVation tends to play pretty straight up. As we can see, his opening, is nothing too out of the ordinary at the moment. And similarly, ByuL sticking with what he's always done. And I kind of wonder, like, do you try that crazy aggression style that he's been playing against INnoVation?
Here's my question. Is INnoVation about to do Hellions, kind of like what we saw out of Alive?
Yep.
No, he's not. He's doing Cyclones. Oh, man, that Link, does it see it? It saw the second factory. He saw the second factory.
Ooh,
now,
okay.
I do want to point out, INnoVation's actually done this build a lot on Whirlwind specifically. Maybe ByuL knows this, maybe he doesn't. But INnoVation's the only player I've cast where I've seen him do this, have it fail, and then come back and still win as a follow-up. For most Terran players, this is all in. For most Terran players, this is like you either win the game with this push or you're left so badly defenseless afterwards it's all over. You are muted, I believe.
Oops, sorry. I am actually curious to see ByuL's response to this, because he's actually gone for a really quick lair. Now, we've seen him go fast meter before, which is great. And I mean, this is a double factory build, so double great. And then he gets the Roach Warren, which is kind of interesting, because I think from what I've seen, people tend to respond exactly how ByuL is, but minus the lair. They just sit on their hatchery tech, rely on the Roach Warren, and then go from there. Some people even like to sort of go balls to the walls aggression with the Roaches and Ravages as a counterattack after this. But it looks like ByuL's just going to keep it chill.
Well, for those who really don't know how this plays out, the Cyclones and the Aliens are just such a good complementary force. Normally there's Roaches and Lings waiting for you, and ideally, the Cyclones counter the Roaches, the Hellions counter the Lings. That being said, numbers and good positioning counters everything that INnoVation could possibly throw at him, whether it's Hellbats or Hellions or otherwise. So there's a lot of ways this could really backfire on INnoVation. And ByuL, having scouted that second factory so early, he knew he was going to need a Roach Warren. Plus one's halfway finished. He already got the layer, so speed done too. I mean, I really think ByuL should be able to hold this.
Oh, of course he's going roach speed. And yeah, that makes a lot more sense because you can march across the map. It is whirlwind. It is a huge map. It's a long way to go if you want to push with roaches after this. And he also needs the maneuverability. He's trying to take a third at the same time. You do have to be a little careful because see how much damage those cyclones do. You've got to make sure you wait for the right number of roaches, and you do have to churn out quite a few in order to handle this.
It's always in such a small amount of time too. Like, here you go. By the way, 4 cyclones locked on. Take that long. Lord, feels bad, man. But as you can see, Hellbat's transforming going to be able to buffer and soak some hits. The cyclones bring the damage, but they are a little bit, we'll say, on the weak side as far as health goes. 180 health, nothing to shy away at. But roaches with that concave not looking too bad. They finally shoot through the Hellbats, and once those are gone, the cyclones can't fight. So knowing this, INnoVation pulls back. Doesn't want to lose these very expensive units. 100 gas each is not something you can throw away.
Yeah, and the +1 is just about to kick in too, so he can actually, now that INnoVation is in full retreat, head across and continue to put on some pressure if he wants. He's actually getting the burrow move and burrow upgrades as well, which is pretty sick. I mean, that's really going to turn up the heat. We've seen how good ByuL is throwing lings into every base that he can manage as a multi-pronged harassment tactic. With burrow roaches, he's got to be terrifying.
My concern for this is not that, okay, ByuL stopped the initial attack and INnoVation recover. INnoVation could very clearly recover with all these cyclones he has. My question is, like, what's ByuL going to do with that burrow tech? I'm really excited to see that. Burrow's one thing or another, but it's the fact that he's got tunneling claws coming in so quickly with this. INnoVation has no turrets. Oh, hold that. Never mind. He's putting a turret down at the front so he can see roaches coming in.
Of course he's getting a turret. He's INnoVation. He thinks of everything. It's too good, man. It's gonna be hard to find a hole in his play to exploit here, even though this strategy is pretty predictable. Like, once you see the double factory, you know what's gonna happen. Okay, he's gonna come with a few cyclones and hellions, and then from there he's gonna transition to back. He's gonna grab a third base, and the game goes on as normal. And ByuL is gonna have a tough time actually stopping that from deviating from what's supposed to happen. He's just about to find out about that turret too.
Yeah, very unfortunate. The cyclones just, oh my god, they shred. That is kind of ridiculous watching cyclones attack. Seriously, it's, in Overwatch, you got Pharah doing her ultimate, just shoots like a million rockets out. I feel like that's just the regular attack for a cyclone. No ultimates necessary. This is just the everyday move.
Wow.
But regardless of how fast the cyclone attacks or not, they've still got a lot of weaknesses. And of course their mobility, they were originally designed to be these units that can move and shoot. Mobility was supposed to be key for them, etc. It still plays against them though right now. Like, if you've got a lot of roaches, but you can lock them down with a fungal, those roaches will do so good. Ravagers will hit really hard. There's still a lot of ways to deal with cyclones, but just generally speaking, A move versus A move, it's gonna favor the cyclones most of the time.
Yeah, even some like muta play can go alright, because as you mentioned before, cyclones against mutas don't do so crash hard. That lock on, you got to do it first of all. You manually do it, and then the mutas are going to be gone before any real damage can be done. But ByuL, of course, isn't going for that. He's going into his infestation pit that'll allow him to get a hive. He's actually expanding again as well to grab his fourth base.
I would love if he was rushing this out to hive for the sake of broodlords, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Of course, if you want to watch cyclones really just be laughable, watch them fight a broodlord. They used to be able to 1v1 a broodlord. That's what feels bad, man, right? But roaches see this coming. It is mutas, and it's a lot of mutas coming out. 16 on the way. ByuL he showed us with the Series First Alive, he can use mutas, and he can use mutas very well.
I appear to be blind. I didn't even notice the spire come up, but yeah, that makes sense. Like, he's gonna run in there. The bases have no missile turrets in the natural, except for, actually, yeah, the natural has one. Everywhere else is pretty much naked, so the mutas can have a field day. One turret isn't going to stop 17 mutas. Hive is coming up behind this, so this is actually really cool because it keeps INnoVation at home while he tries to tech up as well. This is nice harassment there.
Yeah, that's the opposite of cool. Blue Flame hitting really hard, cooking up those drones. 6 of them going down. Yeah, Thor's on the way. Now, this is actually, it's interesting. I'm not sure if this is strictly for the mutas or not, but I do want to point out Bunny, like European Bunny, and a couple of the Koreans that have been exercising mech have been doing a lot of these Thor-heavy builds. get into that more in a moment. We'll see if this ends up being more than just one. It could just be mild anti-air, but oh my god, despite all these lock-ons and despite the fact that there should be some good damage, as we see, they're just tickling the mutas. They're almost out regenerating the cyclone damage. This is so silly to watch, but they are being clumped up, and that Thor comes out. No pop, no hit. He's got to run for it.
Oh my goodness. He does end up losing 6 meters though.
Yeah, that started out really well for him. You know, 6 cyclones going down is a decent trade for 6 mutas, but ends up being not worth it as, yeah, all the extra reinforcements started coming in.
Yeah. I like the idea though. Like, you certainly can be that brave and start picking off a few cyclones, but unfortunately, when there's that many, eventually the lock-on will start to do damage. You know, eventually you'll start targeting enough of the wounded mutas that you'll start to get kills. That said though, he's pulled the force over all the way to that right-hand side base, and at the same time a bunch of roaches are going to take advantage of this and push into the third now.
Though.
Yeah, INnoVation has plenty of time to respond to this.
Yeah. Game number 1 going very smoothly for him so far. We do have a transition to the Hydras, which I find really interesting. I really thought that Infestation Pit, that Hive, like this was all going to be leading towards some greater Spire build, but +3 range weapons still coming up. ByuL, I guess, had this in mind the whole game because he really did put a lot of emphasis into weapons over armor when coming up against Cyclones, and I mean, the Hydras and Cyclones, it's going to be a battle of like who can attack the fastest, and they're all going to attack really fast.
Yeah, this army still has a pretty high chance of just melting these cyclones. The Hydras will probably take a few more cyclones with them, but as you can see, he's just trying to find a concave. He's trying to force him out of an ideal position. The muta's actually coming in from the north at the same time.
Oh, the cluster up though, and the Thors wreck him to bits. Unfortunately for the mutas, without armor upgrades, I think it's only like 2 shots from the Thors with these weapons, so that was really bad for ByuL. That was so much of his investment. Like, he still has an army, don't get me wrong, but this is not an army that is ready to go. It's all in the eggs. 26, 30-something roaches. It's still going roaches versus cyclones. I gotta imagine like lings are better at this point. I don't know, but either way, this army doesn't look very good.
No, ByuL actually in a bit of trouble here. I mean, I think he's going to clean this force up without too much issue, but the one on the north is still pressing all the way forward. That hatchery is going to melt if he just targets it. Perhaps ByuL has just enough to ward this out for now, but look at that army. It just can't do anything.
Thor's, of course, hitting for like, yeah, 36 damage 2 times. Every time they shoot, they pummel through anything. Doesn't matter whether it's roaches, hydras, you name it. But INnoVation ends up taking an unfavorable trade towards the end. And my question now sits, like, where does this leave both the players? Both of them have lost so much through this. Both of them are left with a very pitiful army considering how much their army depends on bulking up. Like, you can't fight with 5 Hydras, nor can you fight with 5 Cyclones. Also, that was some really cool focus fire out of INnoVation. Not burning a scan, just using the splash damage from the hatchery to kill things. That was really cool. I like that.
I wasn't entirely sure if he'd actually be able to hold that last cyclone push off because it's so hard to
I didn't think he would, to be honest.
Finishing blow, but the thing about cyclones is they don't take that long to build, and you see INnoVation making 6 at a time, so he's going to be able to match the remax of the Zerg, and I mean, not the same way, but a little bit quicker than you'd kind of expect. And keeping this Hellion harass up as well just helps to make sure that ByuL isn't getting too brave trying to do his own attacks across the map at the same time.
Scan down here to the south. Just kind of confirms the base. Not a lot he can really do about it right now. INnoVation, while this went on, like, okay, for whatever losing that army. Wow, that killed my frame rate watching that attack. INnoVation did expand a lot while this was going on. And for him, as a mech player, usually it's a bit slower. Nah, not a problem. Fight goes down in the middle of the map. Blinding Clouds come into play to screw with some of the Cyclones, but unfortunately the Blinding Clouds blend into the map. Wow, I can barely see the Blinding Clouds.
Yeah.
Regardless, the INnoVation decides to pull back. Ah, that grip pulled one of the Cyclones way across that little chasm, but still for INnoVation, +3 weapons. Cyclones looking to hit hard. We got that army segment to the south as well, so looks like the command center might die. Oh, that feels bad.
Yeah, this is actually a really nice snipe for ByuL, actually getting a base kill. And that's the best time to do it too, just before they actually get to turn into a planetary or anything. So that knocks INnoVation back to 4 bases. The main is actually not mining anymore, so he's lifting that and going to try and take a 5th base over towards the north base. At the same time, he's moving out again with these Cyclones. And I feel like ByuL's starting to get better composition to deal with this. He's got a few more Ravagers mixed in this time. This could be a bit scary for INnoVation.
I mean, 6 Cyclones at a time. I really like Ravagers. You know, they're not armored, so they're not going to take a lot of bonus damage from the Cyclones. Same with the Hydras. But those Roaches, Zeph, oh my god, those Roaches are going to get wrecked every time. I don't even know about Ultras either, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. They're going to have a lot of armor, so maybe the Cyclones won't.
My god.
But that hatchery died in what has got to be record time. But INnoVation puts himself in a choke. He's now backed into a corner, and ByuL is coming from 2 different sides. INnoVation sees one, but he doesn't see the other. Blinding Clouds could be absolutely fantastic here. As he looks to clean up INnoVation's Cyclone army, ByuL's got a lot of units. But on the left side of the map, we got to run by an attack coming in as well. These Cyclones looking to kill another base. So INnoVation loses out on a ton down here. But again, 7 Cyclone production at a time. Not a problem. INnoVation's not sweating losing these units just yet.
INnoVation's playing this so smart. He knows that if he keeps killing hatcheries, ByuL actually can't keep up. It doesn't matter how many exchanges they end up having, even if they don't turn out quite so great for INnoVation in the end. As long as he keeps the Zerg from expanding, he's going to be looking okay.
The transfuse was just an A for effort moment. Oh, another hatchery goes down. No cancel. It's a kill. And you're right, like ByuL, he actually doesn't have the money to keep replacing these. Like, he's got 2 more hatcheries coming down now, but these snipes are so hard to keep up with. Cyclones, of course, as we see, they can take on the Roaches, no problem, but chewing through the Hydras and chewing through the Ravagers, not such an easy thing. INnoVation down to 46 supply. You know what? He might actually be in a lot of trouble. If these were all planetary fortresses and he could just kind of turtle up around and repair them, this would be very different. But they're not. They're orbitals. He's floating around his mains. His army's pretty much gone at this point. These base snipes have been really cool, but cool doesn't win a game.
Yeah, definitely. I thought he had a bit more mining going than he did, but ByuL's actually done a great job himself denying any extra mining from INnoVation. And being a mech army, he can't replace it. GG! ByuL takes game number 1.
Give that slow clap for that very impressive victory. There was so many moments in that game where I thought, like, oh, he's going to lose to INnoVation. INnoVation's got too many Cyclones. INnoVation's just, like, way too out of control, but again, like, INnoVation, he's been playing mech on and off since HOTS, so it's not weird to see mech come out of him. But it always does seem to be the focus on Cyclones and Hellions for that map. And I don't feel like Cyclones and Hellions work so great if they don't work right away. At least from what we've seen. But
yeah.
Next map is going to be INnoVation's pick.
Yeah, indeed it is. The Cyclones are kind of a momentum unit, I guess. Yeah, they're good as long as you keep doing well with them, like you keep getting good engagements and stuff. I think the hatchery snipes were spot on, but at the end of the day, he had like every round of Cyclones he sent out on its own to do some damage, and then that got picked off, and so he never actually got that big death ball. I don't like. Can you really just rely on Cyclones for that long for the whole game? I feel like as ridiculous as they are, eventually, surely you've got to mix it up a bit, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Cyclones really, I think, start falling off if you didn't get that damage done, if you didn't do like tons and tons. But we are getting into game number 2. It's on Echo, so this was INnoVation's choice. I do want to point out though, like, this is a map where I can see mech maybe working. Like, there's not a lot of maps in the map pool that are super fantastic for it, but
yeah, specifically
the style of mech INnoVation's playing right now with the Cyclones and the Hellions, this is a map for it. I don't know necessarily, like, again, in terms of, like, I'm actually going to stop this. I'm going to go a different direction with this. I just want to say, I want Korean pros, to pick up, like, Nathanias strats, okay? I'm a big Nathanias fan, and if you guys actually watched, I've been using battlecruisers since before the patch changed them. Like, I've been a big battlecruiser fan for a while. In fact, I think Nate even cast one of my games doing that. But anyways, the point of it is, you watch players like him do like these weirder builds. I want to see a really good player adapt it and make something of their own. And I just want to know, like, does that game cap out, or does it actually become the newest, sickest thing ever? Because just like every balance change in every patch, the pros are actually like the last ones to pick up the new changes because they're so used to playing what they were used to playing. Like, no one's gonna. You could buff mech to make it unbeatable, and I guarantee you still got ByuL playing Bio, just because it's what he's been used to doing for like 3.5 years, 4 years.
Yeah, that's true. They kind of tend to wait for like that one guy to come up with a really clever build, and that's usually someone like ByuL or INnoVation.
Actually, for me, the moment I remember on Deadwing, Supernova would always do the tanks behind the rocks. And nobody really tried that for about 2 weeks. But then you saw every Terran player doing it every time that map was cast. So like it really does take time to kick in the new cool strats. Regardless of all this, though, guys, we are in game number 2. Welcome back to some more of the Olimoleague action. I'm Rifkin, casting and joined by Zeph. And spawning here on the bottom right side, we do have the red Terran player, INnoVation.
And on top left, here's the blue Zerg. His name is ByuL.
So, Zeph, I've actually got a problem with my wisdom tooth. Makes it a little bit tough to talk. So I scheduled an appointment for the dentist. Do you know what time I have to go?
No.
Tooth hurty.
Wow. Oh, I've heard that one. Oh my god. That one's always been a stretch for me.
Really? Because for me, that's yoga.
For a second. I'm so disappointed right now.
Oh, hi, so disappointed. It's nice to meet you. I'm Rifkin.
Okay. You're just destined to be a dad.
We're just going to keep chaining these jokes all over the place. No, because here's the worst part, right? Like, I love that the reaction to a bad joke, not a dad joke, but a bad joke is to groan and not laugh, right? So I actually am at this weird point now when I actually tell a funny joke and someone laughs at it, like at a party, I'm kind of like uncomfortable. I'm just so used to the groans and the eye rolls.
Yeah, my last job, they had like a serial dad joke teller who would send around like an email with a dad joke every week or something.
Nice.
They started to get pretty out of hand, and I just kind of grew an immunity to them. And I'm like, this is kind of hurting me in a way, because you keep telling all these jokes, and I've heard half of them, but I forget them by the time you bring them up, and I walk into them all over again. Feels bad, man.
We do have INnoVation looking to play actually standard this time around. So it goes for something a little bit weird, does the mech. He does the mech builds. He does the marijuanas. But now he goes back towards more regular things, and it looks like Marines and medevac drops are in order.
Yeah. Good old faithful. I mean, the last game was cool. It was fun. It had some close moments. But at the end of the day, he couldn't actually close it out. And I think if there's one thing that INnoVation can do perfectly every single time, it's going to be ByuL, not the mech strats.
Well, regardless of that, it is worth noting that when ByuL was fighting his ByuN doing this, he's very well prepared for it. And it felt like at every turn was ready to take those fights. I don't know if it'll be so smooth against INnoVation, but he will get a nice scout with these lings darting on in. And this is a lot of lings, by the way. This is like actually almost too many, but we saw him do this before as well. We'll kill several CVs, might even trade it with some of the Marines. If the Marines go down, then there's less for the drop later, so the lings trying to get on top of this. The depots are down. They do manage to squeeze on by, but I think the Marines have got this. So unfortunately, where we've seen ByuL do a lot of damage with this before, he ends up not even trading well.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing for ByuL. I mean, I was about to say, like, oh, classic ByuL. Always running in lings and getting some damage done, but...
Yeah, so I had the scores... Sorry, just thank you, Twitch chat. This is stream delay. I had the scores backwards. You guys are right. ByuL won that first game. Lots and lots of cool things happening against them Cyclones.
Yes, indeed. Well, looks like INnoVation now going to head across the map with his Reaper and just check that the third is actually there. It's almost built, and he does indeed observe that, so... that probably put a bit of peace in his mind, knowing, okay, that doesn't look like a fast lair or anything. I'm pretty safe for the moment. And we'll see how his drop goes.
Okay, so normally you put 2 engineering bays into a wall to finish the wall faster. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone do 2 engineering bays like this, but okay, it is what it is. As the drops do move out, though, these are not really super potent drops. I mean, they'll have stim, and that's great, but this is not that many Marines. And this has a little bit to do with the way the lings traded out earlier. Picking off some of the Marines, INnoVation didn't have quite the amount ready to go. So he's going to unload this a little bit early and go in with the Reaper. These Queens don't have a lot of energy, so maybe he can focus them down, but the lings pounce on top of this too quickly, and INnoVation has to disengage.
Yeah, but he's got another medevac about to finish up, so he can bring the reinforcements, and he's got a liberator finishing as well, so he can send that to the natural or something, and then go for the main or go behind the mineral line of the third at the same time. And this is what's really cool about this Terran style, is that once you start pushing out, even with just a medevac or two, you never really stop. Your goal is to keep up the pressure for as long as possible. And we've seen people get absolutely slaughtered if they make even one small mistake in this situation. So let's see how ByuL goes. The Liberator looks like it's going to go for the third or the main. He's actually got a lot of Lings and Banes out already, but I'm not sure if he's ready for the air.
Well, that's the thing. He's doing a great job. All the queens on the front line, I mean, they're not there to take care of this Liberator, and it starts shelling away at the drones. ByuL does have to pull away from this, but in doing so, allows INnoVation to escape to the natural. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. He takes a nice position. These Lings cannot fight. He focuses down the Banelings. Oh my god. If he had gotten that one more shot, he could have stayed there. Liberator, on the other hand, is still doing a lot of damage. Finally gets cleaned up, but INnoVation, man. When you're not doing something weird with Cyclones, you're so beautiful to watch. You're so good at this game.
Yeah, that was really sick. Such a good exchange there. He gets the last bit. Oh, he gets a whole bunch of drones that are trying to evacuate from the third as well. You can trade against these Lings and go into the main.
Seriously, when you watch ByuL, when you watch INnoVation, when you watch these guys who have such good control about this, you kind of forget that they're doing macro behind it.
Yeah.
Like, if this is one player focusing on all of this right now, okay, the medevac going down sucks. It's not that impressive, but knowing that he's also built that third base and transferring it over, that he's got another army built up and ready to go, that's where it really comes in. You're just like, damn, this guy is good at StarCraft.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, both these dudes are just doing so great. Like, let's not forget, ByuL took a couple of not so great trades there, but all in all, Liberator didn't do that much damage. He's got his 65 drone economy, he's got a fourth base coming up, creep spread still looking okay, all things considered. Macro Hatch, Spire, the upgrades, they're all rolling out, so ByuL is still looking pretty good, and I think he handled that pretty well in the end.
Just take a couple of the Lings out in the middle. While this goes on, I mean, as the players continue to expand, I'm a lot more focused on like what's going on here with the tech and that production tab. Like on one hand, like ByuL go for the Spire, that's not so surprising, but the question is really like, does he decide to scoot on over towards that hive tech much faster? He's been very much like through the several TVs he's been casting today, he seems very content to stay on layer tech.
Yeah, he doesn't mind sitting on that for a little bit longer, whereas a lot of Zergs tend to rush up to Hive as fast as possible. We'll see if that works out for him here. He does like a good cluster of mutas. Those mines get taken out here on the ground, and INnoVation can't find an engagement right there. He's actually, half his army is in the sky right now, so he could potentially surround that other half, but he plays it safe, heads home. May need a few more Banes. Also, he's trying to pump out mutas at this point in time, so just gotta wait for those.
Oh, I'm failing all kinds of production things today. Thank you, chat. I forgot to update the stream title as well. Taken care of. Thank you, fam.
Actually, a supply block for ByuL here. He's been supply blocked for about 30 seconds now at 150, and that's not ideal when you're being pushed. Luckily, does lose a few units there, so he can replace them when the mine hits. A drop going off as well.
Yeah, he's gonna lose some more. I mean, INnoVation just where does he find the ability to do this? We squeeze all this in. He does take down one of the extractors. It's a little bit awkward. Not exactly going to kill ByuL, but does finally get this cleaned up. Mutas decide they want to go for the counterattack instead of playing strictly defensive, and as they swoop in, there are no turrets, and this is a lot of freshly dropped mules. If ByuL knew this, that would be where the focus fire goes, but he pulls everything away from the base. That's going to kill his income for a little bit. As he pushes in on the left side, though, INnoVation wants some revenge for having to move anything off that third. And as he advances forward, this base might get focused down. He splits for the Banelings. Widowmine's looking for some decent hits. He gets them. A couple Banelings remain, but the Marines are more than enough to push up this ramp and finish off that hatchery. Drones get pulled, evacuate the base, he says, and that's going to be all she wrote for this hatchery.
Yep. And the last minute desperation move for those last few Banelings does trade out a few units, but it's not enough to clean this up. The other hatchery actually gets killed up here on the top right. That wasn't even cancelled.
You know, every time ByuL was losing bases before, he had another hatchery to trade out to. He would just transfer the drones over. The fact that INnoVation just caught him transferring away, oh my god. This is so sick. INnoVation's playing this really well.
He is looking so good. He just knocked the Zerg back to the Stone Age, essentially. 3 bases at 10 minutes in the game is not going to cut the mustard. We've got 3-3 on the way for INnoVation, whereas ByuL, I mean, I guess that's the problem. That maybe a blessing and a curse. To still be on layer tech means he can still afford all these units on the 3 bases mining. But Hive is even further out of reach now, even if he wanted to start transitioning into that. And eventually you do, because once the Terrans got 3-3, your trades are not going to be so crash hot.
Well, I think that I need to start a crash hot counter on the stream.
Oh, did I say that a lot, do I?
Tonight, at least, I've been noticing it a lot. I don't know. I think that's like... I want to say the 5th time. No, it's like I actually like the phrase. I think it sounds cool, and I think that's why it stands out because I just hear that. But oh, that Widowmine cluster could have been devastating as ByuL continues to run away with these mutas. Things are. Let me try this. Things are not looking so crash hot for these mutas. did I do that right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done.
They're going to come back in. I mean, for ByuL and just about any Zerg player out there, like when you're fighting with what is a handful of mutas, like 13 mutas really isn't that much. You want to be fighting with 20, with 30. Like you need big numbers to be devastating. So right now ByuL's just kind of distracting. He's being a little bit annoying. He's not committing, and that's the right way to use the mutas. So even if he's bleeding out a couple here and there, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. He just really needs his bases reestablished, and it's funny because INnoVation keeps pushing out to try and find one, and he's only just now started to rebuild.
Yeah, I can't kill it if it's not even built, dummy.
Yeah, so he's unfortunately gonna get that base again, I think. I don't think ByuL has any chance of really defending that. No, he just...
This is a little bit awkward. All the medevacs were left on the front lines. There's actually nothing at home to help these Marines, so they charge forward, only to have to charge backwards.
Yeah, some nice catches here, actually, and this is the way to do it. If you can pull the army apart, you're going to be looking a lot better in this engagement. All those mines have detonated at this point, and INnoVation is actually taking some serious damage in the mineral lines here as well.
Well, until he killed all the SCVs, he was supply blocked, but good guy ByuL helps him with that problem by killing some more workers. Problem is, though, while ByuL's getting some really good damage, I don't know if his defenses are going to be any better. The drones, as we see, are chilling in the middle of the map. They've been pulled every which way. There's not a lot of bailings left either. The mutas are not numerous enough to take on the Marines, much less the Widow Mines. This is bad for ByuL.
Oh,
GG.
Yeah, real bad. GG. INnoVation evens it up with a 1-1.
It's pretty good damage, but just, unfortunately, still left defenseless at home. We are going to go to a 2-minute commercial break, though, guys. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, it'll be game number 3 in this best-of-5 finals. All right, folks. We're back. Game number 3. I know the score was wrong for a little bit in that last game, but I can't mess it up this time because it is tied up 1-1. But while we're talking about numbers, Zeph, I've got to ask, do you know why 6 was afraid of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9.
No, because 7 was a 6 offender. In the bottom left side of the map, we do have the blue Terran player, INnoVation.
That took an unexpected twist. And his opponent in the red, it's Zerg ByuL.
I think that's what I'm going to have to do, is try and pull up all the ones that can go one direction or the other. So if you try and finish off my joke again, I could just go the other direction with it.
Wow.
I don't even know if I know that many more that have it. But anyways, INnoVation, playing a little bit more standard, looked a lot more impressive. ByuL, on the other hand, I don't think his early game was all that bad, but his attempt to dive in with the Lings did not pay off like it has in the previous series. It did not pay off, for example, the way it did versus ByuL. So it was like a little bit of negativity on ByuL's side, a lot of positivity on INnoVation that made that game look so fantastic. But now that we're in game number 3, I think everyone's kind of assessed where the situation's at. We'll see if ByuL gets risky again, because if we're going to be honest, things like the drop overlords and the few extra links he squeezes out earlier with a faster gas, like these are all things that, in my opinion, are risky for Zerg to do.
Yeah, they're a little risky, but I mean, that's the kind of thing you need to beat this kind of opponent, right? I think it's still really solid play either way, so I don't know. Either way you look at it, I think it works out pretty well for him. We'll see what happens this game. It's the same opener for ByuL again. I wonder if he will try and go for the Evo as he's tend to do on these sort of maps where there is a ledge that he can possibly drop at. If nothing else, he gets a +1 Carapace upgrade out of it. Might be a good way to get a leg up in the start of this game.
Well, of course, the Overlord's going to see all this, which is really nice. And those 2 Lings are going to have time to get in here and kill that SCV still if they go right now. But stalled out. Looks like they won't get there in time, so the command center should finish off relatively easy. Overlord's going to see that too. Back at home. Queen's out in the front line too, waiting to anticipate that Reaper. And of course the Creep Tumors start up.
Yeah. And that Reaper wants that Creep Tumor too, but he's not going to get it today. He has to head home. And overload positioning for ByuL is pretty nice here. He's got the 1 over the natural, 1 coming in towards the main, so he can get a good scout off if he needs. But it's the usual 2 racks, 1 factory, 1 starport coming up here. So same opener for INnoVation again. ByuL actually defended it very nicely in the last game, even once things started to get a little stickier with the added Liberator and whatnot. But all in all, like it's not the amount of damage you might have seen someone like INnoVation or Beyond do with it before. So hopefully that remains the trend here, because I would love to see another long game between these 2 guys.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Rob Athari, by the way, for the 30-month resub. Nathras as well for the 19 months, and Lord Asium just now for 19 months as well. A lot of big resubs coming in. That 2017 feels, though. Thank you guys for your support for so long. So speaking of sticky situations, what do you think? Do you think creep is sticky or slippery?
Have you ever touched seaweed?
Yes.
I feel like it feels like that.
Well, because I'm thinking, like, on one hand, I want to say it's like a little bit slippery because Zerg move faster on creep, right? Makes sense. But Terran don't exactly go slipping and sliding on it.
No, slippery doesn't make sense either, because to move faster, wouldn't you need like more friction or something to like push off of? I don't know.
Maybe it's like, you know, when it snows but then starts melting, it gets really slushy. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe, I don't know. We don't really get a lot of snow in Sydney.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that one part of the world that's got the hole in the ozone layer that's like always really hot, Rifkin. Yeah, we don't get a lot of snow, if you can believe that.
I didn't mean that as pitchy as it sounded. Nonetheless, INnoVation is coming in with his double drop here. A lot of Queen's things ready there.
Of course, INnoVation, once he chews away some of these Lings, he might just pick up and go for that mineral line spot that he found so sweet and so hot last time, but not this time around. He'll have to pick up and just heal up for the time being. While this happens, though, I do want to point out not a lot of Queens went down. Not a lot of actual damage got done there initially, which was great because then he also didn't have to burn a lot of transfuses. Bleeding out some Lings, it kind of sucks, but now he's got the Queen still to push back those medevacs. When you start bleeding out the Queens, you lose that anti-air, and that's what increases the staying power for INnoVation. It's not the Marines, it's all about those medevacs.
You also lose your creep spread, which is real help later on when the Terran starts to march up towards your bases. He's going to come in for round 2 right now, but now Banelings are in play as well. Almost gets
but
one
that focus
Queen.
fire could be good. Nope. Okay, so let's pick up instead.
That was actually really well controlled by ByuL, forcing the pickup.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me that I thought was going to be really nice, INnoVation's really well known for his focus fire on top of those Banelings. We saw it before, too, in that last game. But I guess feeling a little bit unconfident. He does get his 3rd base started while all of this has been going on, so back at home for him, he'll be moving towards that expansion. He's got the extra barracks coming down. I do want to point out, I've noticed this, too. Like, INnoVation's pretty quick to get to 5 racks. Not like it's a bad thing or anything like that, but the fact that he puts so much emphasis on his army is like what really kicks up that macro, and why we're able to see him just consistently pressure.
Yeah, look at that. Clears up all the creep on the right side. ByuL wants to get some kills, but unfortunately INnoVation is not going to allow that at this point in time. 1-1 about to finish up. Mines in production, medevacs in production. Armory just finished to line up with that 2-2 straight away as well, so he can start to put some pressure on and get some good trades here. There's a small window where he'll have the upgrade advantage. But otherwise, the 2-2 will be the next one to hit. Looks like ByuL is already thinking about his cheeky counterattack tactics, though.
Well, both watchtowers are taken, but you're right. In doing this, the upside is he's going to catch a lot of SCVs. The timing on this is perfect for ByuL. The downside is, though, this is a large portion of his units that are not going to be at home defending against INnoVation. The Banelings don't have speed, so they can't quite catch the SCVs in time. These Widow Mines, I think, are going to be devastating, frankly. Yep. And double drops in the main. But, oh, a Spine Crawler is down. Oh, I actually like this touch of static defense. I think we saw Lenok doing this as well, but that was against Protoss. Anyways, point of this is Ling's struggling to get over here to the side of the map, know that they can't defend this base, so he's just going to give up the hatchery, and that feels bad.
Yep. Oh.
Okay.
That friendly fire, not too bad.
Turns out Broodlings are not as good as Widow Mines are.
Oh, that was actually a nice little pick off. He doesn't really lose anything for that, but he snipes one of the injecting queens, so that's one less hatchery that's being injected right now, because the other queens, I believe, might be hotkeyed to a different group, so they're moving around.
There we go.
Oh wow, he's actually... Ooh, okay, I think it's one, but he needs to start laying some creep as like insurance in case he loses those queens. Otherwise he's not going to have any spread on the right hand side. All in all, ByuL doing a pretty good job defensively here.
So the Spine Crawler is going to comment on earlier. I like this a lot because it does kind of screw him with INnoVation's stutter step if he fights near it, but also buys him those couple of extra seconds for ByuL to get back and respond. Unfortunately, though, that response wasn't good enough, and that Spine goes down, Lings are dead, and nothing really defending the main right now. A couple of Banelings looking to roll in. INnoVation tries to focus fire, costs him his Marines.
Yeah, indeed it does. And that last queen should be able to clean up the rest. INnoVation unburrows his mines here at the third and decides he's going to take that with him for another push. He's doing the same thing he does every time, just keeping up the pressure. And while ByuL hasn't really taken a huge loss at this point, he is still finding it a little difficult to trade efficiently against so many little fights. He hasn't had a chance to go across the map with his mutas like this properly and get any real damage done either, because they've been helping him defend.
Well, wants to get in here, but that bunker's finishing up. It's going to really make this hard for him to break. That bunker, though, does get surrounded, but already a lot of mutas getting picked off through it. He was looking elsewhere. He does pick off some of INnoVation's drop, but can he get enough workers to make this worthwhile? He just lost quite a few mutas, 4 of them going down through that.
Yeah, a little suboptimal. That's not really what you want to be happening. He immediately replaces those with another 5. Plus 2 attack just finished up as well, so he's closed the gap on the upgrades for the moment, but the 334 INnoVation has well and truly started a while ago, so again, he's on a timer to get some good trades in, and he's still sitting on that lair tech. You're absolutely right about that. He does seem quite comfortable to sit on that 2-2 with mutas, kind of like Heart of the Swarm-esque style.
A really big problem, though, is that while he was sitting on layer tech before, he either had army leads or he had upgrade leads. Like, his mutas don't have any upgrades this game. And the Lings are keeping up on 2-2, sure, but the fact that he's staying on layer, I don't feel like there's a lot of strength in it this time around. Mutas are really good, though, for distracting and, of course, getting around the map. So as they come over here on the left side, a little bit scary, a little bit annoying. INnoVation is going to have to pull back to deal with it, but the Widow Mine in the bunker is a good deterrence to keep these from getting too out of hand.
Yeah, I'm going to just fly... Oh, okay, rip muta. Nice shot there for the Widow Mine. But he does fly out for the moment. Again, he's going to head across the map himself with the rest of his Ling Bane and see if he can't find a place to do damage. It's ideal in this map if you can get like a multi-directional attack going, like a surround when they push out. And he could set up for one of those, but looks like he's actually going to go straight in towards the naturally get into the main. A lot of Banelings here. He wasn't watching.
Okay, so that was like a hot knife through butter.
Oh no, again! It's actually so many Banelings, it doesn't even matter right now. And then we just come in and start trying to get some of the medevacs.
The problem is ByuL is giving up a lot. Like, he's getting a lot of damage done, but he's giving up a lot. Like, you don't get those Banelings back for round 2. You don't get to use them again. But as he comes into this third base, this is where he can secure some very serious damage. Banelings wrap around the side. The bunker's trying to focus him down. It's not quite cutting it. Oh, the SCVs are not safe. Not even in the back. 26 workers go down. While this happens, INnoVation goes for a drop. He cleans up a lot of mutas, but more Banelings crashing into those Marines. He kills a base, so that's not all without repercussions, but man, INnoVation down to 37 SCVs off that attack. The third base did live, it's floating, but ByuL's really he's trying, I think, almost too hard to end the game right now, where he really should just take these advantages and go home. 71 workers? Don't lose with 71 workers. Don't throw away your army while you have 71 workers back at home.
Exactly. The game is his at this point. All he has to do is go home, regroup, deal with this drop, which, by the way, is very clever from INnoVation because he has basically nothing left. I'm not sure he snuck that out. But if you can just morph some Banes, get some more Lings on the ground, and crush this next push, he's going to be fine. That is mostly medevacs, don't be fooled. There's like a medevac per Marine.
Yeah, actually it's 9 medevacs. It's a lot, which is, I guess, good in terms of healing, but yeah, bad in terms of the fact that their army supply is not really 45, it's more like 25.
Yeah. Oh, snipes a mine there, and
the
he gets
mules.
the mules that have just been dropped. Ouch.
Oh boy, that's gonna sting. So that reminds me, you ready for another bad joke? You locked and loaded? This is a Rifkin original, okay?
Okay.
Why should you never buy a couch or a sofa from a Terran player?
I don't know.
Because it always comes with Reaper cushions.
That one went over my head.
Because Reapers, and then, you know, the cushions that you sit on, but it sounds like repercussions because it was a mistake.
Oh my god.
It's not,
Wow.
It's not great if I have to explain it, so I'm just saying. It's not great if I have to explain it. This game, by the way, I'm surprised to see INnoVation's army still holding on. He's doing what he can to mine. There's a lot of really good moves he's making, and it's not like ByuL's throwing this game, but I'm really impressed that INnoVation has recovered from what looked to be like an impossible spot. His SCV count is still not that great. The mules have been keeping him afloat, but it's been keeping his army high enough in number to fight with, and that's what matters the most right now. The fact that he can even take a fight.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough. Like, a few more Banelings morphed in, and I think ByuL can actually, like, seal the deal on any sort of engagement, like 100%. Already, he doesn't even need to engage the army, he just has to go around and a few Marines. He's smartly positioned to deal with any run by, but not a full army.
No, this is going to actually kill the base. Command Center does straight up die this time around. Left side of the map, Baneling's waiting, so this drop walks right into them, but oh, ByuL's actually going to walk away instead of trying to run into it. INnoVation reacts a little bit slowly, but not too slowly. So he focus fires down those Banelings, but rushing back from across the other side of the map, the Mutas, the Banelings, the Zerglings, everything here still looks like it should be manageable for ByuL.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with all these reinforcements dying. And while that army will take out a hatchery, unless it's, you know, might actually be in a bit of trouble right now, but there's so many hatcheries available for INnoVation, and sorry, ByuL rather. And the Mutas are still doing so much work on the other side of the map. This army has little chance against the number of Lings and Banes that are being morphed in.
If INnoVation was taking these same fights off of Creep, I think he wins these fights. His spreads are looking good, his control's great, but the Baneling speed plus that Creep is just a little bit too much. Another command center goes down. In fact, he's only got one command center left in his natural base, so that's... I gotta say that's gonna be a game. Like, INnoVation has...
that's dirty.
He's lost this.
He went off. He got the Bane mine. GG. Yo, just up 2-1.
But of course, that's not the end of things, guys. It's a best of 5, not a best of 3. So stick around while we get the sloppy set up. Game number 4 when we return. All right, folks, welcome back. Already into the thick of it. Game number 4. This could determine everything. Again, this is a best of 5, so if ByuL wins one more game, then that's it. It's all over. But Zeph, I've got to ask you before I get into this game. Do you know why infestors are never alone?
No.
Because they usually come with a couple of fun gals. In the bottom left side of Daybreak, we do have the blue Terran player, INnoVation.
And in the top right, he's the red Zerg, ByuL. Up 2-1, match point.
Oh, actually, I just remembered, you like snakes, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have a snake joke. Are you ready for this?
Yes, you do.
Of course I
Yep.
do. Why did the two boa constrictors start dating?
I don't know.
Because they had a crush on each other.
Oh, God.
Good morning, everybody. I'm surprised how many, like, we've got a lot of people tuning in for this. So hello and welcome for my bad
I'm
jokes.
not gonna drunk.
Oh.
On the hot scale, I'm a 10, baby.
Thank you for that donation. We'll get to it in a second. But for all you guys who have been sticking with us since the early hours of the morning, this has been a particularly long Olimoleague, and I'm not at all complaining because we've got a lot of good games for it. So just thank you guys for sticking with us for this longer edition of this tournament. Very glad to have you around. But who is this? Artemis donated. Artemis73 just donated $10. No message, but thank you nonetheless. Of course, for those who don't know, we'll be funneling all donations towards our fundraiser. So I think that puts us at a good chunk for the day. I think we're like $150 going towards the fundraiser. Awesome stuff. But while this game gets underway, we do have Lings darting across the map. ByuL contemplating trying to run over and pick off that SCV building the command center, as I think you would want to do in any given scenario, but decides to stay home instead. I'm really curious about this thought. Like, why? Two Lings can't take on a Reaper, obviously.
Yeah, don't really know, eh? It's just having a relaxing time. Yeah, I have no idea why you'd keep... Oh, okay, he's gonna continue making them, so I guess he just wants to hold on to them so that he can go with a whole bunch.
Like as many as... Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Rather than losing the first two or whatever. But I mean, the Reaper's gonna come by the time this happens anyway, so...
Oh. Congratulations to Kitty the Neko, by the way. Apparently just got his Ashes of Alar. I know how much that farm sucks.
Oh my god! I never got mine, you lucky ass.
I know, World of Warcraft, thanks. But congratulations, man. Congratulations. Anyways, yeah, so a lot of Lings were made, and thanks to speed finishing, we also have that Overlord coming in. This is like classic ByuL tactics. This worked really well against ByuN. Maybe INnoVation will be phased by it, or maybe he won't be phased by it. Either way, the Lings are hoping to distract and kill on the natural, but INnoVation's not really taking the bait. There's no SCVs here, there's no mules dropped. It's just kind of not responding, and in doing so, actually incidentally responds really well to the potential drop over here.
Yeah, gosh, that's so many, like, this is like a ZvT build, actually, where you just make a whole lot of Lings and take a third behind it. That's what it looks like. But yeah, like, this is a lot of units, and without a bunker or anything, he will actually have not enough Marines to take this out, especially not on two fronts. So this is going to be tricky, and there's no reason why you'd really overreact and have a defensive structure like that at this point in the game either. So let's see how he goes as the Lings slowly come to get dropped into the main. All his attention is still
it's all
on
out
the
of vision too. INnoVation can't see this.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be that really annoying 1-2 hit. So they run into the main, they're going to get a couple SCVs. INnoVation, how does he respond? He pulls the Marines back, but then realizes, oh, that was going to be the plan, so he gets surrounded nonetheless. He leaves some Marines behind. It's better than leaving nothing, but he does still have them get surrounded at the end of the day. Lings in the main still killing some SCVs. Lings in the, or SCVs in the natural got pulled into this. 10 workers go down so far. Not too shabby out of ByuL.
No, and he's still going, actually. He's still getting as many kills as he possibly can out of these Lings. 14 so far. That's almost an entire mineral line. Throwing him down to 24 SCVs to the 40 drones. And behind this, the third base is up and running for ByuL as well.
So chat's reaction to my amazing jokes. It's just always fun to read. But someone saying, did Rifkin get a new book of jokes for Christmas? No, I got something better than that, guys. I got a friend back that I haven't talked to for years, so she hasn't heard me tell these jokes over time like Zombie Grub has. Whether that's good or bad for Zeph, that's for her to decide, I suppose. But thank you, Megadog1324, for the new sub. New sub, hype. The double drop doesn't have that many Marines in it. You know, ByuL did a lot of damage going across the map to the SCVs, but he also killed a lot of Marines, so there's not a lot of potency in INnoVation's counterattack.
This is smart from ByuL too, because what better way to dismantle your opponent than in the super early game? Because everyone knows INnoVation is a machine, is a robot, he's not even human, because he's so damn good. So if you're going to beat him, it's kind of got to be early on where it's really hard to recover.
Well,
and even so, you see INnoVation still playing this like it didn't happen. He's still trying to hit his drop timings. He's still got multi-prong going on. It could definitely do some work if ByuL's not paying attention.
Okay, so hear me out. I think I've got a strategy to beat INnoVation, right? INnoVation, I don't know how old he is, but he's probably born somewhere around the 90s, right? Safe to assume. And if he is a robot, then just like all robots in cartoons in the 90s, all you have to do is get a little bit of water on him and it'll completely destroy him.
True.
I always hated that. I always hated that trope in cartoons. They're like, oh, here's a sophisticated robot meant to kill somebody, but I stepped in a puddle of water, so now I'm short-circuited and useless. TV,
It could
please.
work. You can test that theory.
Actually, I do imagine if I threw water at INnoVation, it would probably just annoy him. He'd probably be very, very annoyed.
Probably. I don't think you'd be making friends, but hold that thought as a bunch of Marines come into the third base, stimming down as much as they can, which
Oh, the
unfortunately
focus
is
fire.
mostly linked at this point.
He tried to do the cool focus fire tactics, but it wasn't quite enough. Liberator sets up to kind of protect the Marines that are unloading. It's a little bit awkward, but looks like the Queen will finally push that away, so a little bad, but not too bad. Also, I just realized I'm making jokes, but I think actually if you were playing StarCraft 2, like your INnoVation playing StarCraft, you're in your zone, and someone just walks up and there's a cup of cold water at you, I think you probably lose that game. You probably stop focusing and lose that game.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you'd at least miss micro and lose your army to a bunch of Banes or something, right?
So that weird feeling when INnoVation actually has the same weakness as a robot from the 90s cartoons.
Oh, no.
It's
I
like
think it would
too
be pretty funny if
good.
you did that though, and he didn't even like react, didn't blink or anything, just kept
Oh,
playing.
that's like so bad. That's like when you see somebody punch somebody and they don't react at all. You're like, oh shit, like oh no. Okay, round 2 coming in. This time speed's almost done, but it's not quite here yet. So for ByuL, these are not fights to take. And the focus fire out of INnoVation was sweet. Pops off those banelings and picks up and flies away. That being
Nice.
said, 4th base still going down. This was untouched through this. A small counterattack sets up with was possibly banelings, maybe. Thank you,
might have-
Art. Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I just said I think he might have been looking for a third base. Continue.
I was just going to say thank you to Artemis73. They donated a few moments ago and they just subbed to the stream on top of it. Talk about generosity. But yeah, the Marines stim on top of this. Once again, they want to pick off those banelings. He knows there's not going to be too many out. That's why the focus fire is so preferable now. But yeah, as time goes on, more banelings will be made, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for INnoVation to pull off these moves. Good focus fire on the Lings, too, funny enough. Drops through that Liberator. It's going to go down to the Queens. A little bit scrappy here in the middle. But that Widowmine didn't go off earlier. I think ByuL thought it did, so it goes off and gets 22 kills? What? Banelings, on the other hand, managed to sneak into 2 different mineral lines, but only 12 SCVs die. A few more on top of this with the Lings.
He's still keeping the working count so low though, 38 SCVs to 59 drones. I mean, ByuL himself hasn't really hit that magic number just yet, and all of these reinforcing Lings getting donated for free. But the fact that INnoVation still can't even secure a third base properly, ooh, some decent hits there on the front line. I gotta hand it to INnoVation though, he's keeping up the pressure with what he has, and he's really abusing the hell out of this drop micro.
Oh, top left, all those Lings are left unscattered for the time being, but this base out of INnoVation still not mining. A little bit supply blocked on top of this too. Kind of awkward as his SCV count just unfortunately not keeping up. I didn't realize the income, by the way. I haven't looked at it for a while, but I'm going to press that button and I'm pretty sure it's going to be painted red. Yeah, looking really good for ByuL. In fact, he's going off the charts literally right now.
Yeah, he's looking pretty amazing right now. He's going to be feeling so comfortable. I could almost taste that victory. He is on match point with 2-1 over INnoVation right now. So if he wins this, he seals the deal. And he's actually coming in for another counterattack into the third base of INnoVation while INnoVation tries to go for a drop here into the main.
Just down the
third
Bailey's
base.
exploding, but yeah, the main drop in the main is going to be way bigger to deal with. ByuL's Lings are not going to cut it. You don't base trade with Terran like this, but looks like the Widowmines weren't quite in position. The Bailey's roll in. They actually get a good set of hits on top of these Marines, but there's still a lot that needs to be cleaned up. Round 2 of the Bailey's almost finish up, but ByuL needs a couple of Lings to soak those hits while they roll in. He does have a lot of chaos going elsewhere. I didn't think these Lings would get so out of hand, but I guess the depot was never raised, so they get on top of everything. GG's get called. ByuL wins 3-1 over INnoVation.
So crazy, dude. Oh my goodness, ByuL is on fire.
Okay, again, line him up and knock him down. He takes down ByuL, the BlizzCon champion 2016, best Terran player in the world type thing. Takes on Alive. Okay, not as crazy, but still good. Then defeats INnoVation 3-1 in the finals. I think it's safe to say that ByuL has really good ZvT right now. Like,
Yeah, he's
without
amazing.
a doubt. Oh boy, what a good set though. What a great finals. 3-1, game 4. I'll take it over a 3-0 any day of the week. But the Olimoleague's great because it's got a lot of good payouts. So again, first place I think is like $50. Second place, or sorry, first place is $100. Second place is $50, and third and fourth both get like 25 or something. And this is all funded through the Patreon, so you guys can look into that if you want to get involved. If you want to get replay packs and other cool rewards, that's the way to do it. But we're going to go to one last commercial break, come back and say goodbyes. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. It was a fun one for me. We'll see you guys in a bit. All right, folks, thanks for watching that last commercial break. But as we said, we were pretty much done with the cast. Again, really long day, but a really great day. I was just kind of saying to Zeph during the break, I'm really glad that she's been, well, first off, able to fill in, but that you guys seem to be enjoying her being here too, which is great. If you don't know, she does some casting outside of BaseTradeTV. I didn't just pick up some random grill. She's actually been doing this for a while. She's been casting longer than I have, actually. And she'll be doing some stuff this week that will not be involved with BaseTradeTV. You want to tell people about where they can find more about you and what you're doing?
Yes, indeed. You can follow me at ZvT2 on Twitter if you like. I do a lot of Sea and Oceania StarCraft, so that's usually where I'm at. And this week, the OSC Championships are going on. We're currently in group stages, so that's happening every day this week. I think we've already done 2 groups. There's another one tomorrow, and it goes right through the week. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be casting with Maynard and Death, and we'll be doing the playoffs and final brackets there for the money matches. But there's a lot of community streamers at the moment. Cats, Gauntlet. Goodness, there's so many streamers I can't even think of everyone off the top of the head. Point being that probably in about 12 hours time, maybe a little less. In fact, I would say a little less, maybe like 6 to 8 hours time, there'll be more OSC groups going on. It's Group C today. People like Lasira, Masa, Azure going in their hero. So there's a lot of good players. They're all qualifying for a final bracket. This is an event that they've qualified for over the last year, accumulating points through participating in OSC partnered tournaments. And there are a lot of those. So go to SC2 online on the Twitters, and you'll see all the tweets about that as well if you're particularly interested in that. I'm sure they have a link to sc2online.com where all these tournaments are also hosted and talked about if you are a player and you want to sign up. So yeah, tune in for that if you want some more StarCraft with lots of good plays.
Nice. And of course, if you guys haven't enjoyed Zeph, she'll be back not tomorrow, but in 2 days from now when we go live with our first cast of the BTSL, the BaseTradeTV Star League, or BaseTrade Star League. I don't remember what we're calling it. It's a joke name. Whatever. Point is, we got a new Korean league starting up if you haven't heard the news. We've got a Corsair Cup that's been upgraded as well. If you guys haven't seen this information on the BaseTradeTV Twitter, I did post some 2017 patch notes for BaseTradeTV where you can read more about this. So would definitely recommend looking at all the cool stuff we have coming up and how everything's been upgraded and changed. There's really, what's great for us is there's no real downside going to 2017. It's all big, positive, great changes. So make sure to check them out while you guys can. Follow the channel. If you haven't, follow me on Twitter at riff_kings. Again, it's at ZephSC2 over there. And of course, go check out our YouTube if you miss it matches. YouTube.com/BaseTradeTV. Joey has been nailing it lately. Most of our casts have been up there within 24 hours. So not even next day, like before next day type thing. So do check him out. Other than that, the last thing I think is just check out our fundraiser, !Mega. Again, we're not really pushing this super hard yet. We actually get the house coming up in 2 weeks' time. Once we actually have the house up and running, that's when we're really going to start advertising what we're doing with it. And we want to make a really cool big tournament. So at least educate yourself with what we're doing. Even if you have no intention to donate money, that's totally cool. But just know what we're doing so that you can keep up with all the awesome stuff we're doing here on the channel. But Zombie Grub, as said before, she might not be here today, guys. She'll be doing Nation Wars. I think that's in about 3 hours from now. So make sure to give her some support, watch the show, and cheer her on. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all said and done. So thank you again, Zeph, for joining me. I hope you had a fun time. Sorry for all the bad jokes. I got one last one to end the stream with, okay? You ready for this?
Okay.
You know what a porcupine is?
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the joke. That was me asking if you know what a porcupine is. Okay. What sound do porcupines make when they kiss?
I don't know.
Ouch. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.